Welcome back to, I guess this is season 2.
Season 2.
Yeah, right? We're going to call this season 2?
This is
The start of season 2, or is it off season for us too?
This is probably the prelude to season 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I like that. The prelude to season 2 of Can Blue, a hockey podcast covering the New York Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens. I'm one of your hosts, Ben, covering the Rangers.
I'm Brendan, covering the Canadiens.
And you see our jerseys behind us here. They have
Back
some
at it,
They have
yeah.
some significance. Obviously, Chris Kreider's no longer a Ranger. I don't know if we really had a podcast covering that day or that trade, but I wanted to put this up here, and I might even. I'm thinking about.
Well, when did it happen?
It happened It happened during the playoffs, so we definitely didn't have a pod.
We didn't.
But he's been one of my favorites since he came up through BC and came into the playoffs.
Most hated players.
Yeah. And we've had some good bets back and forth on it. And now just to make Brendan squirm a little bit, I think I'm just going to keep that jersey here the whole season because it's got just it's like an in memoriam.
Right.
It's an in memoriam.
You don't have anyone else better to put up, so I get that.
Well, I don't have a jersey of anyone better, meaning Panarin, I don't have his jersey. So.
You don't want to put off a laugh? I know you have a laugh.
I do have a laugh. Well, he wasn't that great last year, let's be honest.
He might step it up. I mean, he's
well,
older.
Listen, maybe halfway through we'll do a ceremony to take down the Kreider and say, all right, my new favorite Ranger is this. But I don't really have that yet, just because it just seems like this isn't the same. It's clearly not.
It's a new era.
It's a new era without Chris Kreider, that's for sure. And then we were also talking about Nick Suzuki coming into this. Brendan says he's going to be the best center in the league. And
I didn't say that. I said one of the best centers.
No, he said the best. He'll be better than Bergeron. I hope all you Boston fans will hate that.
Great year, and I'm excited to see where he takes it up because he's just been getting better and better in a role that is, you're front and center of the Montreal Canadiens, the number one center, even if by default, and I don't know, he's been exceeding my expectations at the very least, and he's been just getting better and better every year.
Yeah, it'd be fun to have I don't think the Rangers have had a young center, I guess, since Zibanejad first came over.
Right, he was in his late 20s when he came over.
I think mid-20s, because he's only like 30-something now. So, yeah, because we got him in the Derek Brassard trade with Ottawa.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That was good. But, all right, so I think we're going to start off with just quick our thoughts on the playoffs.
Yep.
Obviously.
We made it.
You made it to the playoffs. The Rangers didn't. I was super butthurt about it. We should have made a bet earlier on that whoever was going to make the playoffs, but I don't think we did this year.
That's true.
For Brendan's sake, should have done that.
It was just a bumpy season for both of us, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, from the start, Rangers had a really hot start. I remember talking, I think outside at our studio location, but outside near the garage, being like, wow, I mean, they're winning, but it does not look good, and their defensive zone is horrible. And I remember calling that out, and they cannot. I think they were playing man, and they just couldn't. They didn't have the legs or the system to keep up with all the other teams. And after that stretch of just winning, everything kind of went into the crapshoot.
Well, we started out in the crapshoot.
Yeah.
And
I think we were both going like this, up and down, reverse from each other.
And the one name that, even though we were sucking so much in the beginning, in October and November, one name that always came up was Lane Hudson. And what do you know? He's the Calder winner of this year by a long shot.
Yeah.
Which I was not expecting, though.
Well, from the start, no, but when you have that type of point production as a rookie defenseman, it doesn't have. I think he was with a list of 5 other names in the whole NHL that as rookies put up 70 points or whatever it was. So
yeah. And one thing I like to say, because the people call him the secondary assist magician. Merchant.
Yeah.
Do you understand, if you see his play, how important those stretch passes and setup plays to be that secondary assist, that is hugely important. He drives the play in offense, and those secondary assists, meaning drive the offense to be more creative and to find openings. Like, it's
I mean,
hugely important, the secondary assist, I think.
I'm definitely going to call him that now, the secondary assist merchant, just to piss you off, but it is important.
I saw the statistics. He had 24 primary assists, okay, out of the 60. So almost half. It's almost half. Oh, it's almost half.
I don't know, dude. That sounds like 40-20.
And by the way, the primary assists are not that impressive. He just passes it to Line during the power play, and boom, he scores. So do not be deceived by the order.
That was another storyline throughout the whole year, Line, because he started injured, right? And then he came back kind of halfway through and just was lighting up the power play numbers.
Yeah. I don't think he had the most power play goals out of people, but like
at one point I think he did, and he had, but it was just like he was scoring on a pace, and he only scored on the power play.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is,
and hopefully with the off season now, and like kind of like half a season under his belt without getting injured again, maybe he could step it up next year. But
yeah.
But playoffs, we were supposed to talk about playoffs.
Yeah, I know. No,
you didn't make it. We did. We lost in 5.
Yeah,
exciting.
Which is like basically not making it.
At least we didn't get swept, thankfully.
It's true.
We won. We saw a glorious game where we won at the Bell Center, which was probably the most exciting hockey I've ever seen. It was back and forth, and we won, I think, 6-3.
That made me believe a little bit. I was like, they could do it.
It really did.
But
the first game was close, too, where we pushed it to OT. Suzuki tied it late in the third, and we lost in OT.
Ovechkin, right?
Ovechkin scored.
Dude, I mean, it was his year. Like, you couldn't take that from.
Yeah, that game gave me hope because I'm like, wow, we can do it. We could. There's a possibility we could like take some, but again, I was just mentioning it to you before. I think the physicality wore us down fairly quickly.
That's what you're going to see. I mean, like, that's why so far that, like, thinking on the Devils, like, you have Jack Hughes, elite, and even the Leafs, Marner. Like, you have these guys who are elite point scorers, but then when playoffs come around, like, nothing has really clicked for them. And it's because it is such a different game, and it is that physicality. And, like, that's what the Rangers have been trying to do on the fly this whole year. And so, like, talk about the Rangers season really quick. Like, obviously they did a ton of different moves. They moved Jacob Trouba and my boy Capo Kakko. Well, yeah, but they
Kakko was more physical.
Yeah, no. Then Trouba? No, Trouba was the flying elbow.
Oh yeah.
Trouba was trying to hit like crazy, but
I always thought of him as a pylon.
He had to go, made sense, but they did a little retool on the fly, and they needed to. I mean, Drury addressed that we need to get bigger, stronger, more physical. Everyone right now is pretty much trying to
do
that and combat what Florida Panthers are, basically. Like everyone, and rightfully so, they've won back-to-back. Everyone should be and is trying to build a team that can beat the Panthers because no one's done it in 2 years. And the way that they're signing their players, and extending them, and they have their core for the next 6 years, even though, like, Marchand, they gave him, like, a 6-year deal, and he's, like, 36 or 37. Like, obviously, he's not going to play that whole deal out, but for the next year, and maybe even the next 2 years, they're going to have the same team, like, aside from a couple auxiliary pieces, which is scary, and, like, age will take a toll, but, like, I was talking about this before a little bit with some of my friends, like, could they be the next team to do 4 in a row?
Nah.
They have the best chance out of anyone, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure.
Like next year, who's better than them next year?
I could only say that we beat them in the regular season 4 times.
Doesn't matter,
no losses,
though.
But I think the only thing that will beat them is quite literally out-muscling them.
But, like, how?
Mixed with skill. I think that's not possible. They're the best ones that do that.
They need to definitely capture a little bit of luck for the next 2 years because getting to the...
They signed their guys.
Well, no, but I'm saying luck as far as injury because they've been playing such long seasons, obviously. And to get to that point, I mean, you hear Matthew Tkachuk has, like, a broken rib every playoff these days. Like, I feel like like a broken sternum 3 years ago. You know, and they made it to the Cup final 3 years ago, too. So they've been... having these long seasons, and it's not. I don't think it's sustainable for that long. And usually this is what you'll see. Like next year and the year after, you might see some of the guys' bodies break down a little bit more and like not benefit from having that longer off season. So we'll see. But like if they get that little bit of luck where they can stay healthy enough to all be playing in that same capacity, like I don't see a team like. I didn't even think the Oilers were that good either year. Like I know they were good, but I just like it's like they're McDavid and Draisaitl. They don't have a goalie. Like the Skinner thing has to be over.
There was no resilience.
Who did they sign? Did they sign Gibson yet? I think they were talking about it.
All I know is that there's people left.
Yeah, like, yeah. Every year, I like.
Kane left, Skinner left,
Perry.
Jeff Skinner, Perry left. So we know that LA.
They
is
also
now
got
lose
injured.
in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, Hyman was.
Finals.
Oh, to the Rangers, hopefully. The Kings lose to the Rangers. Yeah, Perry's just
14, 15?
Yeah, 14, 15. Yeah. The Perry meme of him
Perry
just
curse.
being in every single final and losing is like it's horrible. I feel so bad for him, but
I don't see the Kings making the finals.
No,
but
me neither. Hopefully not.
That would be hilarious if they did. People just leaving Edmonton. They didn't really sign anyone significant. Except for that Isaac Howard trade.
Yeah, they did.
Which is pretty big.
I mean, they think he's going to be an NHL-ready prospect, so next year you could see him in the league. And he wanted out of Tampa because they were doing something that I don't know. Maybe they wanted him to go to the AHL and he didn't want to.
Right.
That's what it sounded like. But
they also have an overabundance of wingers anyway. Or is he a winger?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because they traded a center. And Tampa maybe lacks centers in the future, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, Panthers are a wagon. Kind of sucks, but, you got to go through them to get to the final. So, I think that's what both of our teams are building to do. And if it's not next year, maybe it's the year after, or maybe they're just like, for the Habs, I feel like your window's about to open.
It's opening.
It's opening.
It's opening, yeah.
So, like, by the time it's open, Panthers may be on the decline already, but like as far as the Rangers, they are a win now. They're win now mentality.
Do you think if Monty was on Edmonton, they would have won?
Montembeault?
Yeah.
Is he that much better than Skinner?
He's better than Skinner.
Yeah, but
is
he that much better?
He's better than Skinner, bro. Like
what are the
Monty
tiers?
played well on a team that shouldn't have been made the playoffs.
Wasn't he a little bit up and down too, randomly? Like.
I would say Dobish now is more up and down.
I mean, you guys.
After
Monty
his
couldn't
hot start.
Yeah. Monty couldn't beat the Caps.
He got injured.
Oh yeah.
He got injured.
No, that's an interesting like what if, but I just.
Anyone but Skinner is what I'm saying. Maybe. Skinner is not a good goalie.
It's such a weird. I feel like being a goalie in one of these Canadian markets is like impossible. Like Hellebuck was the best goalie in the league, and
but no, he just chokes in the playoffs.
Yeah, but every goalie seems to choke in the playoffs for Canadian teams. No.
Well, to be fair, the sample size is not really great.
The Leafs never have a goalie. They had Stolars and he got hurt, right? Or was it Wall? Who was there? They had a Rock at the end and then he got hurt, and then they.
Stolars was the main guy.
All right, so Stolars and then he got hurt, so it didn't work. I guess Monty got hurt. Dobish went in, but he's pretty young. Hellebuck always chokes it.
I guess you could say
Skinner
that for most
sucks.
teams, though, because like
Markstrom was always a choke artist at Calgary.
By pure numbers, there's more American teams than
Linus
Canadian.
Ullmark.
But like, what you say, Ottinger chokes because they lose too in the playoffs.
No, I think they choke. I don't see that as much.
Right,
of a goalie
you're
problem.
saying the goalie chokes rather than the player.
Well, it's choke or injury, I guess, but I feel like the Ottinger thing. The Stars just. I know DeBoer called Ottinger out, but I felt like their team, like you got to score. Didn't they have scoring issue? Dallas.
Yeah, they like. Robertson wasn't scoring.
They got Rantanen.
Their depth wasn't scoring. Rantanen was quite literally.
He was the only one, right? Yeah.
Hintz wasn't really scoring.
Maybe a little bit, but either way, yeah, it just seems like an interesting thing that.
I think if Monty didn't get injured, we would have won at least one more game.
Could have been. When did he get injured?
Game 3.
Yeah, that's tough. That's hockey though.
Like I remember Slavkovsky scored. He gets hit by Strome. Or no, the goalie for Thompson, or is it Thompson?
Thompson or Lindgren?
It's Thompson, gets hit by Strome. He leaves, and then soon after, Monty leaves after a save.
Yeah.
And it turns out the less looking scary injury was the one that took Monty out.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Edmonton are choke artists. They lost 2 years in a row. They have no one to blame but themselves.
I hope McDavid leaves and goes somewhere else. Like, that'd be so funny.
It's gonna happen.
To the Rangers.
Next year.
To the Rangers.
Edmonton's gonna.
Dude, if McDavid went to the Rangers,
I would hate
it. It would be insane.
Of course.
The best player in the world playing for the Rangers. Come on. In his prime.
Man. That would suck. Not gonna lie.
Oh, that would be.
But
I would be insufferable.
Rangers would be. Yeah, you would be. Rangers would be.
What would we have to give up though?
Pretty much your future.
I
would give it up. Yeah, I would give it up too, though.
The cup contender. All right, that's the playoffs. It's really just a matter of someone has to beat Florida and get a team that can beat Florida. We're going to go into just the ins and outs of each team from free agency. I do want to say, obviously, the Rangers fired Peter Laviolette, brought in Mike Sullivan. It was kind of like a very obvious choice and move that Drury had been wanting to do. I think if Sullivan had been available for the Gerard Gallant hire or for the Peter Laviolette hire 2 and 4 years ago, respectively, like that, that would have been done. But since the Penguins were still trying to be relevant at that point, Sullivan didn't want to leave. But now that they are quite literally the only team that is actively trying to get worse and rebuild, is what everyone is saying about the Penguins, Sullivan felt like that was the right time to leave. That does open up, little side note, open up the possibility for Crosby to leave. People are saying every day it gets a little more likely. I think it started out as
Montreal
no
fans
way.
Keep mentioning
he's so loyal.
Every chance
I think that could be he's either going to Montreal or he's going to Colorado with Nate, I think.
See, the thing is, I see that more likely the Colorado move because
I don't know.
They grew up with it, or they basically grew up in the same area.
If it's his
they
childhood
train together
team,
in the off season.
If it's his childhood team, and you guys are
that would be sick.
And you guys are
awesome.
let's say this year, you guys are going on a run. You're playing better. You obviously have Dobson. You have all these new guys. I won't step on your ins and outs, but and you look like you could be a contender, and then Crosby's you know what? I want to go play there for the next 3 years, and then maybe we can bring one home. That would be storybook.
It would be. Do you think he would be moved at the trade deadline or at the end of the next
I think
season?
It would depend on how their season goes, how the discussions have gone, how your season goes.
Yeah, I mean, ideally we'd probably wait at the end of the season because things are going well. How the lineup is right now looks pretty good, and if we do perform, I feel like I don't want to move anyone unless they're really sucking.
Yeah.
But yeah, Crosby to Montreal to be, and weirdly enough, the second line center. I mean, that would be.
Be sick.
That would be sick.
It would be awesome.
That would be sick. That would be sick.
I'm such a I think it's great that these guys have loyalty, and you'll have a lifer or someone who obviously
Gretzky moved.
Exactly. Even if Crosby does that, you're never going to be oh yeah, Crosby, the Canadian. You're going to be no, Crosby.
He's the Penguin.
The Montreal Canadian. No, yeah.
He's going to get his banner hung up and.
Of course, but it is cool for the shakeup of the league when stars like that are you know what? No, this is my the Marchand thing. Freaking crazy.
Yeah, and he's going to be playing until 43.
Yeah, well, he's going to be signed till 43.
Oh yeah,
he might not play till 43, but yeah. All right, yeah, but the Mike Sullivan thing, bringing him in, I think that's going to give the Rangers a big boost, and I think more than ever now, the coach and the GM are going to be lockstep in tune and want the same things. It seemed like there was a little bit of a disconnect between Peter Laviolette and Chris Drury sometimes last year, and that's probably what led to more of the
division and
the losing. And it just felt like there were times where Drury would go out and acquire a guy like Parsonen, let's say, clearly to get and extend him and to play and everything, and then Laviolette would bench him and not play him. And it seemed like they were button heads, and obviously it came to a head and they fired him. So
the one thing I'm so grateful for is that the new communication between Ken Hughes and Marty and just like the office with the team in general,
Yeah.
I think it's been amazing, and I think for the first time as a fan, I feel like both offices understand each other. Even the players understand the office as well, and it's a culture here that is very encouraging, and the rebuild is going well.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So now we're going to get into the free agency. We'll start with the Habs. We'll do just like the ins and the outs. You can cover it. And then we'll go to the Rangers, and then we'll talk about the draft a little bit, and then I think that'll be our show.
I'll cover the outs first. I mean, the big significant ones from our main lineup is Yoel Armia to LA. Going over to Bergevin, our old friend. He loves
The Burger Van.
Maybe just Armia because he also signed us when he was here.
Yeah.
And Christian Dvorak.
Devo. All right, can I say something about?
Yeah, go ahead.
It was out there that he was not going to re-sign with the Canadians, and I was like, after all the discourse we've had around him, I'm like, I've been shitting on this guy the whole year, and the Rangers are going to sign him. I just have a feeling like they're going to be like, oh, you know what would be a good third-line center? Christian Dvorak.
He is a great third-line center.
I just think every time I watched him, he took stupid penalties, and he scored 10 goals. I was just like,
he was on a heater in the last quarter of the season.
There's something in me. I was like, I think he could sign with the Rangers. This is going to be pretty funny, but went to the Flyers, right?
Yeah. What Flyers? 1 year, $5 million.
Yeah, crazy.
That's a lot of money.
Too
I
much.
was like, whoa.
Too much, I think. But
I was expecting maybe be paid $3-4 million.
Yeah.
But weirdly enough, because he's so well liked in the locker room, I wonder if there's maybe in the back of his mind, maybe I'll re-sign Montreal after this year is out.
I mean, get the bag and then
come back.
It's a prove it year for sure. I mean, look, you get your $5 million, that's great, but then it's only one, so you have the flexibility after that to maybe sign a more long-term deal. Problem is the Flyers shouldn't be that good, so I don't know what.
He just got the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
if someone offers you well above market value, even for a year, he's like, oh shit, yeah, okay.
I feel just a little bad of that because I think he has flashes of being just a good enough third line center, and of course in the locker room he's well loved, especially by Cole Caulfield, they're best buds. They call him Rusty.
Yeah.
So he's going to be missed, and also Armia on the PK, that's going to be missed. I think our PK is definitely going to take a shot, unless the new additions really step up or just perform as they should. Who else left? Caden Primo. We did not re-sign, or I think we traded him. He went to Carolina or something. That was a lost project.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in our goaltending area, and fortunately enough, though, there's a good reason because we got Jacob Fowler.
Fowler and Dobish. I think Dobish, he can figure it out. He's still young. You have Monty. I mean, that's a good little 1-2-3.
Although we did sign Capo Kakkonen,
which is very close to Capo Kakko.
It is actually.
Yes.
So I think he's going to be in Laval with no. He's going to be our backup.
Kakkonen will be the
No, he's going to be Laval.
He should be Laval. It should be Monty Dobish, right? And then Fowler.
Kakkonen.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So that's going to be our goalie structure. We signed Dobish 2 years. And we also signed Sean Farrell for another year. Big addition, obviously, everyone's talking about it. 8 years, $9.5 million for Noah Dobson. For Emil Heineman and the 2 first-round picks that we had this year. Going to miss Heine, but I feel pretty, despite the number being pretty high, $9.5 million for 8 years is a defenseman that is what you would say, top 15, 20 in the league type?
That contract would be probably a top 10 contract.
And we're banking on it based on, good defensive play and also his point history. Pretty damn good for a defenseman.
He's
he's a
young
righty.
Enough, right?
Young enough, 25.
Yeah.
So he's just hitting his prime. He his dip in points, I think, was just on a crappy Islanders team last year.
They don't produce points. I think the rising cap is going to make this contract not seem as big as it is in the 8 years or whatever it is. But it is interesting. Like, that number, I think, is the same or maybe a little higher than Adam Fox's number. And Fox is better, obviously, than Dobson.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting, but it is a sign of, I mean, these high contracts, it's a sign of where the cap is going and what's going to happen, like, in the future. So it remains to be seen. I think do you think he's going to play with Hudson?
No, he's going to play with Gooley because
Okay.
he's an offensive defenseman.
Right. So you won't double it up, but like he could probably
but on the
man
peak,
one of the,
on the
the
power
power
play.
plays.
Yeah.
So I mean, Isles definitely lost a top tier defenseman.
Player
I don't know
they drafted.
Yeah. And what I'll say about Heineman, like, I always loved when he, like, I felt like he drove play really well on your third line. So it's gonna be tough.
Big forward, 6'3".
Yeah.
His utilization on the fourth line, though, like, I think he could, like, for his future, he could be in a better line. So, and the Islanders need that type of winger at this point. So I do wish him luck, and I think he's going to be better too. So, but the addition of Dobson just kind of really offsets things for us, and it was a needed position as well. It also left room to move Logan Mailloux for Zachary Balduc, which is an amazing trade. We have a forward with, they say, 30-goal potential. In the same draft, they were both drafted in the same year.
They're young. They're younger too.
They're like 20. Like
young.
21.
Young, dang.
2021.
Yeah.
Balduc had 19 goals, 17 assists. He was on a heater for the last quarter, scoring like 12 goals.
So he'll be like a middle six winger.
Middle six winger, 6'0". Could hit, could be a great spot for our power play because that's where he scored a lot of the goals. Great skill, of course.
So
French guy.
If he comes on the power play, like, who's he taking off? I think he could be
No, he's on the power play too.
The second one.
Yeah,
okay.
I would.
How do you guys mix that up? Is it usually half-half? Because for the Rangers, it's like
we front load.
Yeah.
Like what the Rangers did.
Minute 30 for the first piece.
Like, it was Hudson for our power play, and then 2 defensemen for a second one. There's a lot more room to play around with the power play now with both of them on the squad. I think it'll be really interesting. I would like to see for once maybe Hudson and Dobson on the power play one just to see, and then Matheson on the second one.
It'd be cool to see how they utilize them. Like, I'm sure, like, the offensive-minded defensemen, those two, like, those are going to be your top guys. Like, maybe on a empty net, you get both of those guys in there to dish it around. Like, yeah, I mean, you could, since they do they control the puck well. I don't really remember how Dobson does, but obviously Hudson is, like, very dynamic. Like, the fact that he's labeled a defenseman doesn't really matter. Like, for your power play one, like, if it works, he's going to be going all over the zone. So, like, it's not bad to have him and Dobson out there at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
if they're your best, unless you like don't really have a quarterback for power play 2, and then you might want to have Dobson there.
I like to see basically a power play. It's either this, like, our first line for the power play is just, like, so good that we keep it, or just a 1-2 punch in the power play 1 and power play 2. Like, just a balanced power play 1 that is both, good with puck control and just getting the puck back in the net. And then a power play 2, maybe Demidov, if he doesn't fit in the first line, gives that second punch and threat on the second power play. That would be
I
pretty
think you
fun.
guys are gonna. I think all the moves you made, you're on paper, you're better.
Yeah, I think so.
Year.
I think so.
That's why. So we were talking about a little bit about expectations. Like, I think you have to expect to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And ideally,
would I be surprised if we didn't? Not really.
I'd be surprised. I'd be disappointed if you.
I'd be disappointed for sure. Because I have the expectation.
Yeah.
Whereas this year there was no expectation of playoffs. So I think
But
that's
the problem. Like when you make it a little earlier than you're expecting, now it's all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's definitely
now
the
it's
one
on
contingency of this year is
Yeah.
that we expect to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
All
right. Anyone else in and out?
I mean, those are the major guys. Balduke, I'm really excited to see his play. Very young. I see him slotting in second line on the wing. And he's going to be technically a partner to Demidov. We don't know. I mean, Doc's going to be that second line center, but of course, he's going to be, I don't know, it's always
injured
up in the air
and then, moving up and down.
They say he's been hitting the gym hard since he got injured and he's got the surgery. But it's looking like Balduke, Doc, and Demidov for that second line, and of course our first line the same. And then Andy, Gallagher, and Newhook for the third line. Fourth line is also an interesting thing because we have plenty of prospects, and one guy might slot in full time. They say Kapanen, but I could see Owen Beck coming in. Or even Florian Jacki, which is he's like a 6'4" winger.
Arber's brother.
I think that would be amazing to see. Just because we got a brand new fourth line, so we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
Those are the major additions. I think Hughes said that he's always open to be on the phone and call for a second line center, but I'm glad that
so is everyone.
But I'm so glad that we didn't do like an overpay kind of trade so far.
The Dobson one, we'll just see
futures.
how that goes. I think it's not an overpay yet, but like it's a little bit of a risk because it's a lot of money for the market. You know what I mean? But I don't think it'll just blow up in your face. It's just like the way that I see it, like I don't want to link it to a Jacob Trouba trade because like we paid him a lot and then the cap didn't raise or go up and then he was paid too much and then it was too long and then we had to get out of it. Like Dobson has seemingly more upside, and like obviously he was on this like poor offensive team, so you got to see what he does in your system. But that number jumped out to me as like a possible like, ooh, that's a lot, but it's not nothing
10
of great. That's not of concern yet, but that's the only one where I'd say like, all right, let's just watch that and see how that plays out.
I'm very excited, and I'm sure many Habs fans are very excited for this year. And I just hope we could keep Marty at the end of this next year.
I mean, yeah, I think Marty has earned the right to stay.
Yeah, I think
even one bad year, like
I think
one
he
step
is an
back.
NHL coach.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this year really proved that he is genuinely an NHL coach.
What'll be interesting is how he handles playoff series, plural. Like, because the way that like the Rangers would always fall apart is like Gallant or Laviolette would get to, we'd beat the team that we're supposed to beat, like the Capitals. We'd sweep them. Get to the next team, maybe a little bit of trouble, but then the players would come through. Then you'd meet a grade A coach like John Cooper or Paul Maurice, and you could just see you were getting outclassed and out-matchupped and everything, and that's when the coaching part really kicks in a little bit later in the playoffs. So
but also
once they make
Paul,
a run like that.
He's been in the league for a long time.
Yeah, of course.
So
it's
a journey for as much as it is for the players, for the coaches, and he's failed plenty in Winnipeg.
Yeah, but he had to move. So this is what I'm saying. So I think they'd be dumb to get rid of Marty, even if they, make the playoffs, lose,
and I
whatever.
think the only time he would probably leave is, like, if the Rangers had the coaching problem next year, like this coming year,
dude.
And then Marty's contract, I think, is coming up out this year.
The Rangers better not change.
I would be worried.
I'll be really, really worried if the Rangers change coaches again in the next year or two, because like this will be their fifth one, and Drury will be gone. Sullivan will be gone.
So
it'll be a total teardown.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be
so
horrible.
if things don't improve within the next 2 years, I'd say for the Rangers, I think Drury's gone, and maybe even the coaches.
They just brought in the coaches, though. It's so dumb.
So
all right,
then full rebuild. Let's go.
No, oh god, it's fun because you get to watch it from scratch, but it's a long process. Like I'm good. Let's
Within the last decade,
contend.
you've rebuilt already, technically.
Yeah. So basically, like the cup run and the teams we had with like Rick Nash and
Yeah.
like Gabrick,
Lundqvist,
obviously.
and then that down from that.
Like so that was a 2014 run, and then 2015-16 it was kind of down because it was like everyone was getting paid and had to go somewhere else, and then that was rebuild time, and that's when we got all those draft picks. That's when we got like Heedle and a ton of draft picks that didn't work out that your wonderful president or GM Jeff Gorton brought in. Yeah, and they sucked. They sucked. It was like Leos Anderson, Vitaly Kravtsov, ABC that just didn't work out.
That is true. Those
and they were
guys
all,
suck.
and you know, they were all, a lot of them were undersized European or Russian wingers. And now Drury's going, nope, we need American, Canadian, above 6 foot, big physical guys. That's where the league's going now. Did you see the stat that not a single defenseman under 6 foot was drafted in the entire draft?
Really? This draft?
Yeah.
Ooh, making another
so it's going
Hughes mistake and Lane Hudson mistake there.
Listen, like there's you're gonna have your Hughes and your Lane Hudsons like diamond in the rough, but like you can. It's just a safer bet to go with it right now with the bigger defenseman, which sucks because I've always been the smaller defenseman when I played. So
yeah,
I like to see the small guys get the chance, but
I agree. It's I just remember. A decade ago when we were drafting players like Michael McCarron in the first round and like Jacob Delarose, I thought then it was like the idea was like, oh, the league is big, you need to have big forwards, but that didn't work out for us. Like, or we also, I do think that our drafting with Trevor Timmons as our like main scout or draft guy, he sucked. Like. He missed pretty much everything except for Pacioretty and Subban, and of course Price. But that was over a span of 15+ years as our lead draft guy, and that didn't work out.
Well, it shows. Like I think we did this exercise before. Like we looked up like who was the last leading, like who was the last Hab to score like more than 30 goals or something, and it was like Max Domi.
Yeah.
or something.
No, he didn't even score. It was Kovalev.
All right. Well, Max Domi was the second. It was like he had 25 or something. You're like, what? That's like nothing.
Him was 70 points, the first Hab in like a decade or over a decade.
I think that's crazy. Like
so our drafting
like a third liner.
Was crap.
Yeah.
And that's why we're reaching a new era for the Montreal Canadiens. Just because we got Caulfield, got Suzuki, Slav, Demidov now, Hudson, like. People, I mean, I know we traded for Suzuki, but half those guys we drafted, like drafting actually going well.
Yeah,
that's hype to me. That's like, in you know, the golden age of Montreal was that where we drafted good players and they performed, and I could say I never really experienced that except for Price and Subban, Pacioretty. We don't talk about him because you know he's in the Leafs, and he was on the Leafs, and he talked shit about us. Anyway,
he didn't. What'd he say?
He was just like, I don't know. He's very indifferent, I guess.
He's a Connecticut boy. He just doesn't.
Yeah,
he doesn't get it.
Either way, our drafting coming to fruition is like so sick. It's so sick.
So let's just, I guess, quickly brief overview. What do you think about the draft picks you made this year? Then
they're good. I mean, even though we gave up our first two, there's another Russian forward we got in the second round. They say it's a steal because, you know, Demidov even approved the pick.
Of course, he's
Alexander Jarkovsky, if I'm pronouncing that right. Another winger, decent size, just highly skilled, huge upside, and just another good prospect to add to our pool. And there's this one that's making waves, undersized forward, just like Caulfield and Marty, 5'7". LJ Mooney of the U.S. program, development program, he makes some sick moves. You should see his highlights. Even though like he had a down season last year because he got injured, but he's another prospect, just a highly skilled forward that is just great to have in our pool. And we got new people coming up, as I said. We got we also have a couple big forwards, like a guy named Tyler Thorpe. 6'4" or 5", skilled forward. It'd be sick to have him eventually on the lineup. Again, our prospect pool is probably, I would say, top 5 in the league. Is
that a homer take or is that a real take?
I think that's a real take.
Sounds like a homer take to me.
No, that's a real take. You can look it up.
So is Laval winning this year?
We made it far, but they'll probably make another run.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That was all things Habs in the last, 3 months. So we're going to go on to the Rangers side. I'll cover the Rangers ins and outs of free agency, starting with the outs. There's a lot of different kind of smaller moves that were made on the AHL side. I won't really go into that as much. The ones that I'll try to talk about are guys that we've actually seen in the roster playing. So, like, one of them that I've been vouching for, but it kind of felt like it was going to go this way, was Zach Jones. Talking about undersized. He was 5'10", 5'11", or
that's
something.
That's undersized. That's like average.
Yeah, average
defenseman height.
I think they're getting bigger and bigger, though, like we're saying, like with the draft. But so he was constantly scratched. When he played, I thought he looked good and like drove play. I didn't think he made too many errors, but they just like didn't really have a space for him to play. And he is puck moving. He ends up during the year looking for a trade to go somewhere, and Rangers gave him the permission to, and no one really came back with anything. So the Rangers end up not qualifying him. So basically he's released from the roster, and then I think the Sabres actually pick him up, which sucks for him because the Sabres are not good. But I think he'll get an opportunity there, just assuming, the Sabres aren't that great, and I think he is an NHL-ready talent. So, like, even if he doesn't, like, I just hope he gets to play. So I think they got him on a 2-year deal.
They got room.
Yeah. I think they got him on a 2-year deal. Hopefully he's in the lineup, but it'll be something, at least for me. I always like to just check in on the Sabres to watch Tage Thompson, because he is like the one redeeming thing about that team. U.S. guy.
Now that Peterka's gone.
Yeah, true. I thought the Rangers would get Peterka. But then, now I'll be able to kind of watch that for Zach Jones. Another player that we acquired last year, that got a little bit of ice time, and he had a couple snipes, and he was always shoot first mentality. Arthur Kaliev, another U.S. national development team guy, young guy. Again, didn't really ever crack the lineup just because the Rangers are so deep on the wings, and he ends up not getting qualified, I think, and he was signed by Ottawa. So Ottawa kind of, I could see him having more of a role there, just because he's like kind of fast, goes to the net, shoots first, like at all chances that he can get. So those two, not my favorite players by any means, but guys that I think people would recognize, and they're gone now. So those are kind of the big ones, or the big small ones. The biggest one is Keandre Miller, of course.
Yeah. The return, not gonna lie, is kind of like,
awesome.
I was not expecting
I'll
that.
take it.
It's good. Very good. Amazing. I just didn't know he was that valuable.
I understand what people like. So the whole year, people were saying how like he sucks, and like I just feel like the Rangers Twitterverse was so against him because we've said this. He's talented. He's athletic. He can make insane, great offensive moves. He can make great defensive moves because he's fast and he has a long reach. And there's clips of him skating with McDavid and making a good stick play. It's like that's exactly what we need. The problem is like 10 to 15% of the time he'll just do a bad giveaway or turnover that leads to a goal.
Sounds like Matheson.
And you're like, dude, that cannot happen. And I think he was going through some stuff this year. He took a game or two off for like mental reasons or like whatever, personal reasons. He's very concerned with, rightfully so. He's he's really concerned about like setting up him and his mom and like his family and stuff. Just because I don't know. He's mentioned that a lot more than other players have. Like, so him getting the bag, which is I think he got like $60 million or something.
So, yeah.
Over 8 years.
And slightly less than Dobson.
Yeah, no, it was either 7.5 or 8 or so. I think it was 7.5
mil.
Yeah, a year for like 8 years. So, like, I think it was a $60 million all-in thing. obviously that's the bag. That sets him up for life. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Good for him.
He's good.
I always liked him. Always liked watching him come through the development program and coming in as a draft pick. Like, it was cool to get to watch him grow. I think there's more to his game. Maybe Carolina can unlock it. I think that number and that length, it's not something I would have wanted the Rangers to do. If the Carolina Hurricanes can make it work, then great. But I mean, not great for us. I hope it doesn't really work out. But for Keandre, it's cool that he gets to do that. But I mean, that's I wouldn't have wanted to sign him to that. So I'm glad he's.
Maybe the draft picks you receive from that are gonna. Like, you never know.
Yeah, that's true. And the return we got. So it's essentially equivalent to an offer sheet, because like at that number and for that type of player for that length of term, we would have gotten a first, a second, and a player. I think is like or something around there. So what we got back was in next year's draft, which is supposed to be a stacked draft, a first round pick, a second round pick, and Scott Morrow, who played I think it was UMass. He played somewhere in the Boston area, which Drury and all the coaching staff that we've brought in love. And he is a guy from Darien, Connecticut.
Oh, really?
So he's a local kid. So I'm assuming he grew up a Rangers fan. It's kind of just like, it seems like the perfect fit. He got a couple, I think he got like 13 or so games last year. He's really young. He has a lot of offensive upside. So it seems like a great return all in for a guy that we knew going out of this season, we were done with Keandre Miller. Yeah. So it's like, good return to get back.
I mean, especially if you guys tank this year, you might have...
Get McKenna?
You get two, and you said deep draft.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it could be a good move.
Yeah. So those
they
are
get fined for it, for taking.
Yeah. So those are the main outs. And really, like, obviously throughout the season, like I was saying, we did a little bit of a retool on the fly. So, like, the real main outs were Kreider and Trouba and Kakko and Goodrow and those guys. But since that happened mid-season, there wasn't as many guys leaving in the free agency window or at the draft.
Right.
So the biggest name that the Rangers had been talking about, and something that I think is rightfully so, they need to address, is their defensive play. So Vlad Gavrikov has been in the news really for the Rangers for a while, and some things about his game. He's supposed to be a very defensive defenseman, and he is playing or was playing on the Kings, which were a very defensively sound and defensively minded team. So it's just a matter of, like, you hope he can bring that mindset and that play to the Rangers in a different system. You don't know how much he benefited from the Kings system. But that said, you get him, you're going to stick him with Fox. He's going to be a really good defensive shutdown guy. You get him for less than what Keandre Miller just signed. So you have him for $7 million now, which I think, like, the way the market is going, like, I think Ivan Provorov got like $8.5 million. That's crazy to me.
I guess I never seen him play. Like, maybe he is defense.
Who, Gavrikov?
No, Provorov. Like,
I just don't. I didn't think
he'd be that.
When that number came in, I was like, oh God, I don't think the Rangers can afford Gavrikov if it's at that number. Like, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. I think it should have been maybe 5 years.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
how old is he? He's like 28, 20.
26, 27, 28, something like that.
He's not that young. Okay.
He's not that young, but I think the Drury clearly knows how to get out of contracts that are too long. Like, he's done it, even if it kind of tears the team up. Like, he got rid of Trouba, which was a longer contract. Yeah, well, I mean, there's some things that you can't do, sure, but the term, if it gets that number down to 7, I think it's worth it. He can get out of it. That's true. So
should be fine.
I'm excited about that. I think our new decor will be revamped with the Gavrikov Fox. You have what it sounds like Schneider has really put in. Well, he was injured for kind of playing through injury, and this longer offseason, he got surgery. He's going to be, like, hopefully back to 100%, which maybe he hasn't been for the last year or two because he's been playing through this injury. So I'm hoping that that'll elevate his game even more, and I would love to see him in the top 4. So have Gavrikov, Fox, Schneider, and Borgen. Borgen was a guy playing with Miller last year, and he was a physical, using his size guy. He wasn't going to put up a ton of numbers, but, like, seemed defensively sound. And I think in a Mike Sullivan-led defensive system, it could be good there. And then the bottom two would be a mix of Carson Soucy, who we have for the next 2 years, Scott Morrow, who we got in, and then Eero Vakanainen, who is a Finnish guy that we brought in last year with some of the trades we did. So I think that defensive kind of core with a new system, I'm excited about it, especially with this new defensive defenseman Gavrikov coming in. That was the biggest one.
You think it'd be better?
Better
overall?
Better, yes,
okay.
Better. I mean, Trouba gone, I think, helps it defensively. Miller, at his best, I'd love to have him, but at his worst, I don't want him. So, like, I'd rather have someone who's consistent, and it just seems like those were the guys that left, and the guys that we got back. I think it's going to work
is
out.
A good player.
Yeah,
and
I am banking on Schneider improving and because he can be a physical force. He's a big dude. He put on more muscle, it sounded like, and he's like 6'4", 210. Like, he should be able to drive
that big?
it. Yeah,
wow.
yeah. And he was called Baby Trouba his first year or second year because he was making big hits, making good plays. Not that I want him to be Trouba, but if he can model some of that game and like get the hits and some of the goals, he's had some good highlight reel goals. So I think that defensive core will be good. All right, so from there, we've covered that defensive side. Really going on now to the forwards that came in. I guess talking about some of the extensions that happened, Will Cooley was the biggest one. No one really thought he was going to get, offers. I mean, there was talk of offer sheets, but there was really a sense that Rangers are going to get this done. They do a bridge deal, 2 years, $3.9 million. Good for both sides, I think. It's like relatively low for the Rangers, but it also, it allows Cooley to progress and prove that it wasn't just a blip last year, because he had a really, really good year last year. He like stood out, was one of the only players like producing and driving play for a pretty bad Rangers team last year. Yeah. You have your guys like Edstrom and Rempe. I think both of them were extended. Yeah, they both were extended. These are fourth line guys. Most of them that I'm going to talk about. So like
Fringe,
you have those
line.
Two. You have like a Derek Pouliot and a Justin Dowling that are going to be like the lower end of your roster, but they're depth guys that, when you have kind of a good revolving door of NHL-ready fourth liners, it does make a difference when you're trying to be a contending team. And then Juuso Parssinen was also extended, which is an interesting move.
He'll get more playing time, though, maybe.
Hopefully he'll get more playing time. I don't know how it's going to fit in the roster. Like, we don't have centers, so he'll be our third, fourth center, depending on how they want to handle the Mika Zibanejad situation. He's big. He's young enough. I think he's 24 or something.
Yeah, he's young.
So we'll see how that goes. I mean, he didn't get enough time for me to really have an opinion on him last year. Like, it was kind of just like unnoticeable, which isn't the best thing to say. So we'll see how that goes. But then, I mean, you also have Sam Carrick, I think, here for another year, and he was driving play last year on the fourth or third line too. So that's kind of going to be your bottom of the pack guys. But then the last real signing that we had was the Taylor Radish from the Capitals. And I think he played more of like a third and fourth line role there. I'd expect the Rangers to use him as more of a third line guy, because we have our fourth line really set with like, I didn't even mention Brodzinski. Like, he's going to be cycling in there as well. I think having Radish as like your third line left winger is going to just like elevate
is he a kind of grinder
six.
type
Yeah,
guy?
I think he's grinder, goes to the net, hard-nosed. Like, I'm not really expecting a ton of points out of him, but I think like having a guy who's more of a pest, and maybe if this is how you're shaking it out, like if he and Trocheck can get in there and just get in people's faces, I think that could be a good signing. I talked to one of my friends who's a Caps fan that watched him all year, and he was like, called him a bum or something. It's just like, if you're expecting things out of him, like points, then yeah, he's a bum. But I think you could get some other things out of him.
I kind of totally forgot he was on the Caps, and I don't think I remembered him significantly in the playoffs, if that says anything. But
whatever.
I'm sure he might have been a pest.
Yeah, I think if that's the role that we are going to use him in, I think it could be a good signing. So that kind of just brings me to what's the roster going to be like? And the biggest question is, does Mika play on the wing or the center or at center? He's been center his whole time in New York, except for like the last 2 months of the season. And he was struggling this year, as was the whole team. But when they put him on the wing with JT Miller, both their games were elevated. So it seems like a good indication that they could play him there. The problem is that takes a valuable wing spot from an already inundated wing roster.
You need the centers. You need
the centers, which we don't have. You have Perreault, who's obviously our top prospect, who's a winger. You have Othman, who has been kind of waiting in the wings for his opportunity. You have Berard, who played last year, who's a little smaller, but he had some great plays, and he always has a motor. So it would make more sense, and the team would be deeper if Mika played center, second line center, because I think they want JT as first line center. It just is if that doesn't work again, if Mika can't handle the center response, maybe though it's a matter of system, matter of coaching.
Yeah, I think with it's kind of like a refresh for you guys. And as you said, he's played center most of his life. He's definitely gonna slot in for a significant amount of time there.
But I also think it's not a bad thing to have too many centers. If we have a line with 3 centers on it, that know how to play wing, and then they can cycle in, and maybe one's a better face-off guy on the right side. Okay, you put him on the right side, then the other one's on the left. Put him on the left. You could do that. It's not going to happen for this Rangers roster now, but that's a positive there. But the other thing is just depth-wise, the Rangers are so much deeper, and it gives the wingers more of an opportunity if Mika plays center. So I'll just talk about what I think is going to happen, because what it sounds like is Sullivan is doing a lot to talk to Mika and try to make this relationship with the team work, and to try to get him in their best spot possible to succeed at center, because I think they do want to play him at center. So what that roster would look like to me, I think, would be obviously your 3 or 4 or 5 centers down the line would be JT at 1, Zibanejad at 2, Trocheck at 3, and then a Parsonen, I guess, Edstrom, Carrick in the middle. That is a good center depth.
I'm thinking about Montreal.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow.
That is a great center depth. It's just if Zibanejad, if the team sucks like last year, which is when you had a similar type of thing.
When you have Trocheck on the third line.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I know. So then the lines I'll go through. I think they want to keep Panarin and Lafreniere together. It seemed to work when Trocheck was centering them, but I think JT Miller plays a similar game to Trocheck. They're buddies. It's kind of he's maybe a little bigger, maybe a little stronger, but I think having a Panarin, JT, Lafreniere first line is a good top line.
Pretty hot.
Then I mean, the other thing that I've been playing through is I think Cooley and JT playing together could be good, because Cooley modeling his game after either JT or Trocheck, he could learn a lot from them, but you also don't want too much of one thing on one line. So I think Cooley playing with Zibanejad could be good, because they could complement each other. They're different players. Zibanejad's not going to be hard-nosed to the net. He's going to be setting you up, whereas Cooley can drive to the net. And this is all just what I'm thinking, and I think it could change, but you need Perreault in the top 6. You need to give him that opportunity. So then you're looking at a Cooley, Zibanejad, Perreault line. Is that too much finesse? Is it not enough grit? Maybe, because I don't think Perreault has that edge to him yet, and I don't think Zibanejad has it. So it's a little bit of figuring it out there.
A playmaker.
Yeah, but so is Zibanejad. So maybe it works. It's just we're gonna mess around with it, but I think that'll be what your top 6 looks like in some capacity, and then you'll have Radish, Trocheck, and then an Othman or Berard, or Parsonen somewhere in there, and then your fourth line will be a Carrick, Edstrom, Rempe.
Trocheck doesn't have much to work with there. I mean,
But he doesn't need to.
He'll drive
line.
it. He'll drive. But yeah.
Think about the best third lines for.
That's a pretty good third line.
For Tampa, for Florida, you have these guys that if you take a shift off, Trocheck's scoring, but you're not matching Trocheck up against their top line usually, unless that is your defensive line. You could have that as Trocheck. You're if you score, great, but your assignment is we're putting you up when we're home and we can control the matchups. We're putting you up against a top line, shut them down. That's all you gotta do.
I like the balance.
Yeah,
I like the balance.
I think that sounds better than front loading your top 1.5 lines and then having a middle 6 that kind of sucks, and then a solid fourth. And then taking away time from Perot or Othman or Berard. Like, it's just, there's definitely some roster manipulation that has to go on here because I think we're one or two forwards or wingers extra right now.
How does that just real quick? How
Yeah.
does that? How does your third line compare to? I forgot to mention it. That's why I'm mentioning it.
Hmm?
To the it's actually Laine, Newhook, Anderson. That's our third line, technically.
Okay, so Laine, Newhook, Anderson. What is their role in the Canadiens? Score? They're not shut down. Laine
What's
doesn't shut
weird is
down.
that that line is mixed. Like Newhook doesn't do either.
So Newhook sucks.
Newhook drives the play.
What about Anderson?
Anderson, he's the grindy, work hard every shift.
Laine is
type
like,
person.
I will sit on the.
Yeah, unless Laine somehow
I just
fixes
don't.
his knee injury.
I just don't see your third line as like that much of a threat.
Okay, you don't think it'll add scoring? I think it could if Newhook basically drives the play and he gets better in his entries and his passes. I think it could actually be a solid depth scoring line.
I could see Trocheck and Radish and like you get another big winger there. I could see them bullying that line. No.
Yeah. See,
like how big are
physically?
Yeah.
I mean, Anderson is our saving grace there,
Yeah.
physical wise, but
Right. But if you have, if we have two and you have one, it's like,
yeah, Laine will get easily pickpocketed / out muscled.
But it's also there's a potential that that's not the role. I think it's just what is the role of your third line? Because I think for us that would be if it's a Radish, Trocheck, and then like an Othman, Berard. It'll be like maybe you have some scoring touch, but it's really like a shutdown, like lockdown defense.
Then maybe it's up for
them.
debate. Then Baldock move there for Laine, and then in that case, it's more of a skilled / shutdown type vibe. More maybe more like shutdown because Baldock could play that, but just Laine on the second line, I can't. It's hard to see because I don't.
He didn't get surgery or anything, did he? Did he fix his knee?
He didn't get surgery when he got injured in the preseason, but again, he's just going over his previous ailments.
Yeah.
But him and Demonov on the same line, I just can't see unless Laine is like 150% recovered.
Yeah.
But again, he's shown that he's not the player to really drive the play and kind of he's not a floater, but he's like, for a top forward, a supposedly top forward in the league, he could be considered a floater because
I think
I don't know.
I mean, we're definitely at different stages of our teams right now. Like Rangers want to be this deep team that can win the cup in the next couple years because otherwise, like, people are going to get older.
You don't think the window's closed a little?
I think they're
it's open still.
They're desperately trying to to change the team and keep the window open. It's tough. Like last year threw me for such a loop because I was like, oh, we were so good 2 years ago. And it seemed to work, and we just like hit a wall.
I think it really is contingent. So your forwards, I think, are great. That's like
I have questions about the center thing, but I think they could bounce back. It's just like
for me, it's the defense for you guys. The
really?
Defense.
Well, yeah, I mean that was the problem.
Literally leaves Shesterkin out to dry, just like.
But that's why I'm excited about a new defense. I think they play. What did they play last year? I think they played zone. Sullivan, and I think they played man last year and couldn't do it, or vice versa. It was something like that where, personnel-wise, it didn't work, and I think like we brought in a coaching staff that I'm hoping can unlock or just make it make sense for these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I agree. I mean, if that's bad still, that was our biggest issue. Their defense was horrible, and then wingers couldn't do anything, and forwards couldn't do anything because our defense would just like collapse and do nothing.
I think our defense out of the forwards upgraded the most because now Matheson, he's literally on the last line defensive wise. Yeah. I mean, that's perfect because he's a good player, and now with like less ice time because the other guys would be on the ice, I think that's perfect. Like him and Carrier on the last defensive line, it's pretty solid.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting really excited for the season now. We're talking about all this. I'm like, I forgot to talk about the Ducks are basically the Rangers West now.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
They suck.
I like when I'm watching, and all these games are on ESPN Plus. When I'm watching games and I'm like, oh, I want to watch a late game. Usually I'm like, oh, I'll watch the Oilers. You see McDavid. It's always something like spectacular. Now I might switch to the Ducks and be like, I just want to see my players. Like I want to see Strome and Vetrano and Kreider and Trouba. And I just want to like see them again.
And then maybe one day laugh.
No, get out of here. Stop that.
Whoa, we wouldn't want Mason McTavish or something like that?
For laugh? No, not yet.
Not yet?
I'm not ready for that.
They got a couple good defensemen.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm excited for the season. The quick last thing before we... No, fourth line I think it's going to be relatively the same, and they were good. I think just like covering the draft picks that we've done, I mean, they had a handful of draft picks this year, the Rangers. The biggest one that
No prospects, maybe, to take a fourth line spot? Like new prospects?
No, I think fourth line's locked up. I think it's totally locked up. Just because Edstrom and Rempe and Carrick and Brodzinski and maybe Parsonen. Like, it's just, there's too many guys there, and they're big, and they fit the role of, like, just crash the net, get after. I mean, Rempe and Edstrom are, like, 6'7".
Yeah, those guys are huge.
It's
yeah.
like,
those guys are huge.
But the picks I want to talk about, really, there's two or three. Malcolm Spence, he was a second-round pick. People projected him to go in the first round. I think similar to one of your prospects, like good value pick in the second round where like he should have been in the first. So that's cool. I think he played in the OHL or some of the CHL. So
this is a hot take, but I think the second round is like pretty like you could get a pretty amazing player.
No, second round's still legit.
Too, it's been really good.
Yeah,
like
agreed.
Subban, Kucherov was picked in the second round.
Yeah.
Like Hudson, second round.
The fact of the matter is, like, these guys don't know who's gonna hit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there's analytics and stuff, but like you never know. There's so many factors. But Malcolm Spence is the guy that's gonna be. He's another left wing great, but he's gonna be a good prospect for us. That's going to be one that we're watching that people were excited about. We got, I think it's Sergei Gonchar's nephew, not son, Artyom Gonchar. He's a defenseman coming in. I think that was a third-round pick. I'm skipping over a couple just because we're going long here, but there's one more guy that I just thought his name was funny, and it's like, no. I think his name's Evan Passmore. And everyone saw that and was like, no, we need him to be Evan Shootmore. Like, stupid pun, but we were Rangers people were like, oh god damn, we don't need that, man. we need a Shootmore guy. But yeah, like I said, super excited for the season. I like talking about the Habs. I'm gonna be watching them. They were so fun to watch live, and especially when the Rangers like were awful. It was even though I don't like to root for them always, it was,
Although it was short, the playoff was just like a reminder of like 6 years ago, or not 6, but like 2021. At least we're in the Stanley Cup Finals. Like it's been like I guess 5 years is like kind of like that's a lot, you know, to not make the playoffs. Yeah. Especially as a diehard hockey fan.
Dude, I could tell from you. You were like, oh, I don't even remember. Like,
I can't.
And the bubble's different too.
It was different too. It's just like it felt really good to be back in the swing of things. And aside from the bubble and the pandemic stuff, like the last time we made it was like 2016, 2017.
Yeah. So
a large gap, and it was just so nice to see, especially the young core we have play and win a game, and hopefully we can win more next year.
Same here. I'm excited. I'm thinking right now, and this is way too early, but like if they both make the playoffs, I think we have to go to a playoff game at Bell and MSG and just spend thousands of dollars.
I think we have to. Yeah, and we do have to come up with a bet for the start of. From predictions for the start of next year.
We do. I don't know what it's going to be, but we can think about that.
I should have bet like Hudson Calder. Probably.
You should have like actually bet at a book.
That too.
Yeah, because you would have made some good money.
Because the odds were definitely in Celebrini's favor.
Yeah.
And Michkov's above Hudson.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he just took off the second half of the year, so that's how it goes. All right, that's our show. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. We're back. It's going to be a little bit more consistent now. Definitely during the season, we'll get on that, like, once a week type of deal. But for now, as the slow season goes on, we'll do it every couple weeks, I think, and then we'll we'll go from there.
And thanks for watching, guys. And thanks for, again, tuning back into a long, I guess, reprieve from filming. But we're back at it.
We're back. Thank you. Good stuff.
Nice.